Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Lair of Darkness deck profile. So I'm really excited to do something for you guys because this deck is an extremely fun deck to play that can easily control the board with all of our awesome trap cards. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're playing 3 copies of Wicked Serpent Knight Dragon. This card is such a cool boss monster for this deck. With the ability, you can actually tribute a dark monster from the hand or field to special summon this card from your hand. But you can only use this effect of this card once per turn. And this card also has the ability, when this card is destroyed by battle, you can target one monster that your opponent controls, send it to the graveyard, and then special summon this card, which is a great ability to be able to use this card as a board wipe for your opponent's monsters, because all you have to do is attack into a monster that has higher attack points than Serpent Knight Dragon. It'll get destroyed by battle, target that monster, send it to the graveyard, and bring Serpent Knight Dragon back to your side of the field, and repeat that until your opponent has no more monsters on the field, which is so cool. We then play 3 copies of Arima. Arima's great as a 3-of in the build because this card instantly gets us to our copy of Lair of Darkness, which is so cool. We then play 3 copies of Lith, Lady of Lament. This card is amazing as a 3-of in the build because this card can get us to any trap card that we need. With the ability, if this card is normal summon, its original attack becomes 1,000. In quick effect, you can actually tribute a dark monster to reveal 3 normal trap cards in your deck. Your opponent randomly picks one of them to set to your side of the field, and you shuffle the rest back into the deck. We then play a single copy of Loris. Loris is really good as a 1-of in the build to basically just recycle our resources, because this card is able to target either 3 or 6 of your normal trap cards that are banished or in the graveyard, place them on the bottom of the deck in any order, and then draw 1 card for every 3 placed, which is a great effect to basically recycle our resources and get a draw. We then play 3 copies of Lord of the Heavenly Prison. Lord of the Heavenly Prison is such a cool card in this deck to help us protect our back row and also help us get to the exact trap card that we need. And this card can easily special summon itself to our side of the field using its effect and also get to the exact trap that we need. We then play a single copy of Darkest Diabolosis, Lord of the Lair. This card is amazing as it has the ability that your opponent cannot tribute this face-up card on the field, and also it cannot be targeted with card effects. And if a dark monster you control is tributed, you can special summon this card from the hand or the graveyard, which is a really cool ability to instantly bring this card out to your side of the field. This card also has the ability that you can actually tribute a dark monster, and your opponent places 1 card from the hand on either the top or the bottom of the deck, which is such a cool effect. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with 3 copies of Pot of Extravagance. Pot of Extravagance is really good as a 3-of in the build to basically just help us dig into the deck for the exact cards that we need, so we really don't need the extract that much in this deck. We then play 3 copies of Lair of Darkness. Lair of Darkness is what the entire deck is based around. This card has the ability to all face-up monsters on the field become dark, which is a really cool ability to be able to use. Also, once per turn, if you attribute a monster you control to activate a card's effect, you can attribute 1 dark monster that your opponent controls, even though you do not control it, which is an awesome ability to be able to use because cards like Serpent Knight Dragon will tribute to special summon itself to your side of the field, and plus we have some trap cards in the deck that actually require tribute, which is so cool. This card also has the ability once per turn, during the end phase, you get to special summon as many Torment tokens that are Fiend, Dark, level 3, 1,000 attack and 1,000 defense as possible to the turn player's field in defense system, up to the number of monsters tributed this turn while this card was face up. We then play 3 copies of Super Polymerization. Super Poly is really good as a 3-of in the deck because of Lair of Darkness turning everything into a dark. It's very easy to instantly fuse 2 of our opponent's monsters away to summon out Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, which is so cool to instantly bring this card out to the side of the field. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to start with 2 copies of Full Force Virus. This card is really good as a 2-of in the build, as this card actually lets us tribute a dark monster with 2,000 or more defense, and then you check your opponent's hand and all monsters they control and all cards they draw until the end of their third turn after this card's activation, and destroy all those monsters with 1,500 or less defense, which is a great ability just to help you end the game quickly. We then play 2 copies of Eradicator Epidemic Virus. This card is one of my favorite trap cards in the entire game. This card has the ability to tribute a dark monster with 2,500 or more attack, and declare either spells or traps, and look at your opponent's hand and all spells and traps they control and all cards they draw until the end of the third turn after this card's activation, and destroy all the cards that you declare, which is really cool between spells or traps, which is such a powerful ability. We then play 2 copies of Metaverse. Metaverse is great to help us instantly get to our copy of Lair of Darkness, and it's a really cool trap card in this build. We then play 2 copies of Back to the Front. Back to the Front is really good as a 2-0 in the build to actually target a monster in the graveyard and special summon a defense position to our side of the field, which is a really good ability to instantly get a monster back like Serpent Knight Dragon. We then play 3 copies of Trap Trick. Trap Trick is great to basically turn all of our 2-of trap cards into 5-ofs and turn all of our 3-ofs into 6-ofs. And this card helps us instantly get to the exact trap card that we need. You can actually banish a normal trap card from the deck, accept a copy of Trap Trick, and set a trap with the same name from your deck. Also, it can be activated this turn, but you can only activate 1 more trap for the rest of the turn. We then play 3 copies of Karma Cannon. Karma Cannon is really good as a 3-of in the build, one of the most powerful traps in the entire game, changing as many monsters in the field as possible to face-down defense position. Then, if either player controls a face-up monster, they must send all face-up monsters they control to the graveyard, which is a really powerful deck because this card actually affects the player and not the monster, meaning this card can actually out towers like boss monsters because this card will actually affect both players, meaning it makes your opponent send them to the graveyard, not actually affecting the monster, which is so cool. This card is amazing in the deck as a 3-of, and it's just really good to help you board wipe your opponent. We then play 3 copies of Soul of the Supreme King. This card is great to actually help us summon out a copy of Zark to our side of the field, as this card lets us pay half your life points and then special summon a copy of Supreme King Zark from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions, but negate its effects, and it's returned back to the extract during the end phase of the next turn, which is not that big of a deal because we can actually just summon out Archray to our side of the field instead. This card also has the ability, when your opponent activates a spell card or effect, you manage this card in the graveyard and a copy of Zark from your face-up monster zone, and then special summon up to 1 each of a Pendulum, XZ, Synchro, and Fusion Dragon monster in the hand deck, extract, and or graveyard, which is really cool to summon out your copy of Starving Venom and a copy of Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon to your side of the field off this card's effect. So, that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start off with 3 copies of Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. Now, since we are playing Extravagance in the deck, we are going to be playing a lot of 3-ofs and 2-ofs in the extra deck, and this card is one of the most important cards in the entire extra deck to be able to summon because of Lair of Darkness and Super Polymerization. So this card is definitely a 3-of in the build because once you have your copy of Lair of Darkness on the field, Super Poly means you can actually use any 2 monsters your opponent controls to instantly step into this card, which is actually insane. We then play 2 copies of Garua. Garua is an amazing Super Poly target, plus if this card does touch the graveyard, you get to draw a card, which is pretty cool. We then play 2 copies of Mud Dragon. Mud Dragon is also a really good Super Poly target and great in this deck, as it actually helps you protect from targeting effects. We play a single copy of Dracostapelia. Dracostapelia is a really good Super Poly target as well, and this card is just really good because it just requires a fusion monster plus a dark monster to make this card, and it's really good in this deck because it's actually a walking negate. We then play 2 copies of Supreme King Zark. Zark is great in this deck as a 2-of because this card has the ability that it actually takes 4 dragon-type monsters, a fusion, synchro, Eggsy, and a pendulum dragon monster to make this card, but we're always just summoning this card off of our Soul of the Supreme King. This card is really good to be able to summon because you can actually flip it face down with your copy of your Karma Cannon, and then its effect will actually go off to board wipe the field, which is so cool to instantly flip this card face down, and it's such an awesome boss monster to be able to summon in this deck. We then play a single copy of Odd Eyes Archray Dragon. This card is great to be able to summon out to your side of the field, as this card is super easy to summon because all you have to do is actually tribute your copy of Zark to bring this card out to your side of the field, which is so easy to do because your copy of Soul of the Supreme King will actually get rid of Zark. You can actually just tribute it to summon out this card to your side of the field, but since this card is always treated as a copy of Zark, you can only play 2 copies of Zark and 1 copy of this card, but it's still really good in the build to be able to play if you're going to lose your copy of Zark to just turn it into this. We then play 2 copies of Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. This card is to summon off our copy of Soul of the Supreme King, and it's really good to be able to play in the deck because it is a walking monster negate. We then play 2 copies of Typhon. Typhon is very cool to be able to play in the deck because it does have 2,900 attack points, so it's really good to be able to play with all of our different cards to be able to tribute it, and it's a really cool card to be able to summon in this deck because it's actually a skill drain for 3,000 higher attack point monsters, and it's a bounce. So, that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is so fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played a Lair of Darkness deck before, you should definitely give this deck a try, especially now that we have the new Serpent Knight Dragon, which is just so cool in this deck. I absolutely love when they make retrains of old school vanilla monsters, and I really love Serpent Knight Dragon, which is so cool that they actually made a new version of it. So, that's it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell and there so you can come for our notification squad. And see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.